Oh, hey everybody! It's Kevin Strange. I'm just throwing links around the internet piece to the stream. See if we can get some people all up in here to hang out, talk while I doodle some stuff on the screen in front of us. Um, we're just over a week out from the end of the Cockhammer Lives graphic novel campaign on Indiegogo. We're sitting at a cool $1,215. We've unlocked a ton of stretch goals. You get three black and white mini comics, totaling 75 free pages of comics that come with your 150, excuse me, 152 page graphic novel. Um, Cockhammer Lives, the sequel to my cult favorite 2009 feature film Cockhammer, and we're looking to scoot on up to that $1,500 stretch goal where all backers of the campaign get a personalized video thank you from me. So we're trying to get there. We've only got $285 to go to get there with just over a week left in the campaign. That is a very doable goal, a very achievable goal. I know there's still several of you guys that have not jumped in, that have not taken the plunge and backed Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel. You can jump in the link below in the description of this very video to find a link to Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel on Indiegogo. And today is April 12th, 2021. The campaign ends on April 20th, 2001. So as of the recording of this video, we've got just over a week to finish up the that next stretch goal of 1,500 bones. So anyway, that out of the way, I'm sitting at the drawing table with a blank piece of paper in front of me. It's Monday, April 12th. We just finished up our run in Chicago at the Days of the Dead Chicago Horror Convention, and I had a grand old time. It was great to get out there and experience my first larger scale convention in several years, and definitely, nobody's done anything since the pandemic. So it was nice to get out, to be around people again. It was nice to get back into the rhythm and get acquainted with the horror convention scene. Jeremy says, "Hey, buddy." Hey, Jeremy. Good morning, good afternoon. It's afternoon here. I guess it's afternoon there too. Good afternoon. So it was good to get back in the vibe and get that, get centered, get the vibe centered back in the scene again. Because I've hit dozens and dozens and dozens of horror conventions over the years. I've been doing horror conventions off and on for 15 years since 2006 was our first convention. Lorenzo up in this piece. Hello, sir. Hello. Thank you for joining us. And I've taken the last few years off. I got kind of burnt out on the convention scene. More than anything, my private life became very chaotic, and I didn't have enough. I wasn't financially or really even emotionally stable enough to continue the rigors of the road. It requires it's a business. You have to buy and reserve your tables in your hotel rooms months in advance. You have to coordinate your schedule. You have to make sure that you have the time off work. If you have a job, you have to make sure you have your all of your inventory prepped and ready to go ahead of time, so you don't run out of the popular items that sell at shows. It's a business, and there was a few years there where I was just not in the right headspace, and I was not in the right financial position to continue hitting the road as hard as I had in the past. But those days are behind me, and I'm very financially stable these days, and hopefully emotionally stable enough to handle the road. I think I did a pretty good job this weekend, and there was a lot of rust on my boots for sure that I have to knock off, and it'll take a few shows for me to get back in the rhythm of things. But I did some things right. I did some things wrong. Had some successful things happen. I had some things that were disappointing that happened, like every show. the biggest disappointment was I did not bring enough promotional material to really take advantage of that crowd. It's my number one. It's like my number one rule. Like, I don't know how I managed to fuck up my number one rule. My number one rule is you go to conventions to get around a crowd of people that are in tune and in line with your, for me, my sense of humor, my sense of my love of horror, my love of monsters and gore and sexy girls. And that is the perfect environment for me to promote my art. It is the most open audience in the world to receiving my style of storytelling. And my number one rule is you're there to promote. I'm there to promote. I'm there to spread the seeds of Strangeville among as many people in the crowd as I can. And I fucked that up this weekend and did not bring enough promotional material. I got all up in my own head about not being able to finish Nixon and Hogan Hate Comics in time, which is the comic I wanted to take up there to give away and promote, and I didn't get it done in time. So as a reaction to that, I didn't really bring very much of anything up there to promote with. And so I was just kind of at my table, with my proverbial dick out, just like, oh, well, I guess I have to just, to try to bring people over to my table and cold sell them on stuff. And of everybody in the crew that goes out on the road with me to sell, I'm a weaker cold seller than a lot of my people are. A lot of my people can sell anybody anything. And all it takes is a person getting within shouting distance of the table, and they can wrangle them over, talk them into buying, and make sales, which will convert people over into loyal Strangeheads over time that will stick with us for 5, 10, 15 years. There are guys I saw out there this weekend that have been loyal fans for over a decade, and they just, they get it, they vibe with it, they love Strangeville, they love what we do. And to have to stand at the table and cold sell, I was by myself for most of the weekend. I had a couple of fans that were helping out here and there, but they weren't there primarily to help me. So they weren't working my table. They just happened to stop by and help out. But so primarily I had to stand there and cold sell. Man, I'm just not a good cold seller. So I learned my lesson there. I have to have promo stuff. I'm good at walking around and handing out promo stuff. Hey, check out this new comic. Check out my free comic. Check out my new comic. Or I have flyers, or I used to hand out promotional DVDs at shows. And I'm good at walking around and handing shit out and getting people to come over to the table that way. I'm not great at cold selling, but my ass put myself in a position where I had to cold sell all weekend by myself at the table, and it went about as well as one could expect if Kevin Strange has to stand at a table by himself and cold sell with no promo material. It basically went about that well. I love to take people on the road that are great salesmen, that have a high energy, that are flirty girls, that love to interact with the crowd, and we make lasting impressions on people, impressions that last for like I said, more than a decade on people. I love taking Strangeville on the road. It was a little bit of a rusty adventure. It felt like Strangeville with a couple of wheels missing, but that's okay, because what I really got to do all weekend was observe and make plans for how to make this next run of conventions, this next tour, Strangeville tour, if you will, how to make it even bigger and stronger than anything we've done before. And so I observed a lot of the booths and everything, and I saw this. I made an observation that a lot of booths were using these extendable backdrops that were basically two stabilized poles that come up and then connect at the top with various lengths of more pole material, which enables the backdrop to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 foot wide and up to 10 foot tall, with these big banners way up in the sky, 10 feet up off the ground, huge beacon to bring people to the table. And so right there on the spot, while I was hanging out at the table, I looked up on Amazon how much those backdrops were, and they're actually really reasonable. So we are buying one of these big backdrops for our next show. And one of the things I get to do now is I have a 6 foot by 2 foot table banner that hangs on the front of the banner, or on the front of the table. But now I can do a gigantic 6 foot by 6 foot banner that actually goes all the way across the table width, and then it gets to be really tall too because of how high that's going to be in the air. It can come down, and our heads will be right about. So if this is the top of the banner, if you guys can see that, I put a line on the page here in front of me. If this is the top of the banner, this is like 10 foot in the air. So a 6 foot tall person is going to be about here. So all this space is basically open to create a brand new banner. So I'm going to sit here and I'm actually going to design a brand new 6 foot by 6 foot banner while we sit here and chit chat about the show. So this was it wasn't the first show I've ever done by myself, but I don't do a ton of conventions by myself. I work the strongest. I don't think this is going to be, well, here, we'll do it like this. I work the strongest when I have a team of promotional volunteers with me. Strangeville, down like that at the bottom, Strangeville, and then it's going to be welcome to Strangeville. So that's going to be our this is going to be you're going to see from across the room. You'll be able to see from one side of the convention to the other. You'll be able to see this giant word strange. From all the way across the room. Imagine those letters. If this is 6 foot tall, these letters are going to be like 5 foot tall. Letters that say strange across it like that. And then I want to put some of my more iconic characters on this brand new banner. So I'm going to sit here and draw out some characters. I'm actually going to make that a little bit taller. Give me some more room to work, which will make this a little bit smaller in the middle, but that's okay. So I don't normally travel to shows by myself, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of people aren't comfortable going out in public right now. They're shamed by their family members or friends or whatever social group for doing things like that, because they've been brainwashed into believing they're going to kill grandma if they go anywhere or do anything. Even though there were a ton of grandmas at this show, there's grandmas with more balls than some people in their 20s I know that were willing to go out and brave the pandemic to go to this show. So who do we want up here in the top corner? This is going to be the spot that's high up. I think it should be Nixon and Hogan. I think Nixon and Hogan should be right here. And then I think maybe put Nixon and Hogan right there, smoking a joint. You guys can see that. I'm kind of lightly sketching in where I want characters to be at. Up here, maybe up here we'll put Sarsaparilla. Everybody loves Sarsaparilla. I get all kinds of people commenting on old Sarsaparilla at shows. So I think I might actually talk to 666, the girl who played Sarsaparilla in the movies. I might actually see if she would be willing to come do a show with us and walk around as Sarsaparilla the Weed Witch, like in costume. I think that would be extremely cool for the for the people in the know who would know what that is. I think that would be super cool. I want to put Mary Beth on here too. Katie loves to come to these shows with us, Katie Dearest, and I don't have a fucking room to do it the way I want to do it. Fucking feet like that. I don't know if this is something I'm going to be able to do on the. I want to put cock hammer down here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all this on the live stream. I was hoping I could knock out this whole banner on the live stream, but I'm kind of coming up. I'm kind of coming up short with the number. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4. This is only 5 characters because I made the strange so fucking big in the middle. I think I might have to make the Welcome to Strangeville smaller or something. I'm not sure what I need to do. I'll probably end up doing several fucking designs of this thing. So let's just push through it and see where we end up when we're done. So anyway, I just decided I wasn't going to really worry about pushing people to come to this show. I kind of put it out there to several people that I was doing a show and told them the dates and said, if you want to come and help volunteer at the table, you're welcome to do so. And nobody took me up on it. So I didn't push the issue, and I didn't really try to find anybody. I decided I was just going to do the show. I was just going to do the show myself. So I traveled up there. I got my when we were talking on the last live stream. If you were watching the last live stream, I told you I had my car in the shop, and it was like I was like running low on time. Like it was already like Thursday, and I needed to pick up my car. I think we did a live stream on Wednesday. Maybe we did one on Thursday, but I needed to pick up my car and have my car ready to do the damn convention. And so I got the car. Car was all in good shape. But one of the last things we did, we were walking around, kind of kicking the tires and everything, and making sure that the car was going to be in serviceable, condition to hit the road with. And the last thing my mechanic did was he saw that my right driver's side tire was a little bit low on air, so he aired it up for me before I took off. And I didn't really, I'll say I didn't really think anything about it, but I had an issue when we went to Indianapolis last month where that tire was low. When we got into town, I stopped and looked, and that tire was really low, so I aired it up. But it hadn't lost any air in that whole month since we had been home. So I didn't think that it had enough of a problem, like enough of a leak in it, that I needed to try to find take it to the tire store and have them plug it. Try to find like a nail in it, plug it. I didn't think that it was in that kind of condition, so I didn't bother doing that. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I should probably check that for that's the second time I've had to air that tire up, so I should probably check that. But I didn't. And so about 3/4 of the way to Chicago, I drove up there by myself, and about 3/4 of the way to Chicago, I stopped at a rest stop to stretch my legs and piss and get some food, and stopped at a gas station, rather, not a rest stop, but a gas station. And I noticed that fucking tire was almost completely flat. Like the last 100 miles or so I've been driving on it almost flat. And so I had some Fix-A-Flat cans in the car from that last trip to Indianapolis because I don't like changing tires on the side of fucking highways. That's how people get hit and killed. So I had 2 cans of Fix-A-Flat in there. So I put 1 can in it, and I kept driving to the show, and I made it to the show with no problems. So that was a little adventure. Was having to put some Fix-A-Flat in the fucking in the tire before I got up there, and I thought about it all weekend. I was like, man, I hope that fucking tire doesn't go flat out there. And I actually went out on Saturday night to check the tire to make sure it wasn't flat. It was fine. So I got the hotel that we were in has, in my opinion, the best load in of any convention. Load in is always a stressful time. Like you've been driving for hours and hours and hours, and then you get to a convention and you have to like figure out the logistics of how to unpack your vehicle and get all of your inventory and table setup and everything into the convention. And this one is literally just you park in a parking lot and you walk through the door. Directly into the room, into the main ballroom, and then you set up at your table. Like it's super, super easy. So I did all that. I got the car unloaded really fast. I got the table set up. This table setup I've been using at these new shows is easy for one person to set up. I was able to set it up really easily. And make this smaller. I'm going to try to fit all of Strangeville on this one plane right here. And then one of my buddies texted me and told me that he was near the show and he'd be by soon. He was going to get some pizza and come by. So he ended up texting me, and I had an extra pass. I had an extra convention badge because you get 2 of them with your table, and I was there by myself. So I told him, yeah, I'll get you in for free. Just come by the table. So he came by the table, and I still had to check into the hotel and take my personal stuff up to my hotel room. So we did that. We started. I had some coolers packed full of ice and beers and waters for the whole weekend. And the idea was I had a little cooler that I would take downstairs with me and keep beer and water in. And then I had a larger cooler that I would just keep upstairs in the hotel room, and I could go up and get more as needed. And as we're walking through the hallway, we come out of the ballroom and we walk down this big long hallway, and then there's just a turn to the right to go into the lobby to check in. And as I make the turn, I've got everything balanced on a dolly, like a little hand cart dolly. As I make the turn, the cooler comes off the dolly, it explodes open, and all the ice and water and beers and waters just explode onto the slick, like marble hotel room floor, lobby floor. And I was mortified how much, I mean, it made a huge fucking mess. And this is the beginning of a convention. People are needing, they're coming through the fucking doors to come to this convention. I was like, oh my God. But luckily the convention or the hotel staff was able to get it cleaned up very quickly. And I stood there and tried to guard it. It was my responsibility. I fucked up. I should have bungeed down my fucking cooler and not just tried to fucking willy-nilly balance it on a fucking hand cart. I was an idiot for doing that. So I stood there and kind of directed traffic and kept people out of this giant puddle of fucking water. That allows me to put the hat like this. It's really hard to do concept art and tell stories at the same time. Just so you guys know. She's got eyes like this. And a crazy giant smile. So luckily the staff came over and they got it cleaned up, and one of the managers, he stood guard and said, "You guys can go, you're good. No worries." And so my convention started off with a fucking flat tire and a spilled cooler. So it was a very interesting start to the weekend, but I never let that stuff get me down. I thought it was funnier than anything that I fucking, like I said, like I was an idiot. And didn't bungee my shit down. So lesson learned. Oh, I was tripping all over the ice too. My buddy was laughing at me as I was fucking tripping over the ice and ice skating, trying to kick all this fucking ice out of the way. It was a hilarious experience, but that was funny. We got into the hotel room, got all my personal shit put away, and went back and started the event. And the event was a lot of fun. Obviously, the crowd is going to be a lot smaller for now because of the stupid COVID stuff. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I gotta count the pot leaves on Sarsarilla's hat, or I'll put the wrong number on there. She has gigantic boobs. I don't know where her hands are going, or anything else for that matter. Okay. And I ended up selling a little bit of everything. I was really happy with nothing on the table was a dud. Like, we sold paperback books. There's a lot of readers that we've accumulated over the years. I think we probably did at least double, if not triple, the amount of conventions as strange fiction books as I ever did movies. So we've got like a trained sort of built-in audience for and then that's going to be Mary Beth chilling, bow in her hair, big hair, and her hair is like that. And then she's going to be in the same pose she is on the fucking Strangeville Smokeweed poster. I like that pose a lot. Okay. I like this pose a lot. It's like she's chilling like this, chilling like this, and then her thigh comes over and she's got her feet propped up like this. And a joint in one of her toes. And I think that's a cool pose. Let's do it. Titties over here. Like this. She's wearing her little tutu. And her little top. Okay. And then that gives me the room to do cock hammer down here. His crazy ass face and his horns and his fucking goggles and his fucking cape, arms like that. So we got Cockhammer on there, Mary Beth's on there, Sarsaparilla the Weed Witch, Nixon and Hogan. I think I can fit more. I think I can reduce the size of these characters and fit a lot more characters on there. I think I can do some more characters here. And even maybe 2 here, maybe 3 across here, maybe another one here. I think we'll be able to nail in a bunch of characters on this banner. And this banner will be a huge Welcome to Strangeville. We got it because we have the Pumpkin Monster. Got it at the very least. Pumpkin Monster's got to be right here. Maybe we'll even have the Pumpkin Monster holding Mary Beth. Like that. And if we have Sarsaparilla, we have to have Rocco. So I'll move her over and put Rocco next to her. There. So that gets another character. So that's now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters on there. And then what I really want is I really want this to say like comics. Comics over here, like cult films, and then like weird fiction, comics, weird fiction, cult films. Collectible games. Like I want the product representation on here as well. So it's Welcome to Strangeville with all these cool characters, and then it also says comics, weird fiction, cult films, collectible games. Spaced in there too on this giant 6 foot tall by 6 foot wide banner. And then we hang this up on the fucking big 10-foot tall backdrop that's hung up by 2 poles here, and a pole across the top will hang that banner down and then secure it down here and secure it up here. And then that'll just dominate the whole back. Like our heads will be like right here. So that might Welcome to Strangeville, and then maybe I should have like comics, cult films, weird fiction, collectible games. Maybe I should have that just running underneath Welcome to Strangeville, comics, cult films, weird fiction, collectible games, like that. And then have the characters all dominating the outsides of the gigantic banner. I can work with this. We can make this happen. We can make this into a giant, cool ass fucking banner. And I've got 1,000 copies of Nixon and Hogan Hate comics on the way, so that won't be an issue as far as having promotional material for the next show. I'm also going to do up some new flyers, and I'll hopefully have a lot of volunteers, because the next big show we're doing, and I'm going to add a couple of shows, I think in May. I think May. There's some stuff going on that I can add to the convention schedule, but the next big show is in mid-July, is the Crypticon Kansas City show, and I actually have a 10-foot by 10-foot corner booth space, and so I'm gonna need, like, I'm not gonna be able to man that huge fucking 10-foot by 10-foot table space by myself. So I'm going to need some volunteers to rock that show with me. So I'm really going to start pushing that. I'm not going to be soft about it like I was this show. I'm really going to try to push to get people to come down to Kansas City with me to represent Strangeville and really fucking go to town and just turn Kansas City into Strangeville for the weekend while we're there. And I hope to have this giant banner done by then, and have the backdrop ready to set up, and some new, I spent a lot of time this weekend really thinking of ways to tweak the Strangeville table to really create the atmosphere that I'm looking for at shows. And so yeah. And as far as the rest of the review for the convention weekend, it went well. I ran into some old fans. I made some new fans. We had some fiction people that just stomped right over, sell me a new book. I love your books. I had a guy run up in my face and scream, "Colonel Kill motherfuckers is the shit," and run off. We've made an impression on these people, and even 5 years off the road, people still know who we are and are still here to represent as citizens of Strangeville. So I love those people. And I got to ran into some older fans that were big into card games. So I was able to sell, I actually sold quite a few decks of Strangeville Smokeweed, which I'm super happy about. And I sat on the floor in front of the table and played a game of Strangeville Smokeweed, which I've been fantasizing about since I made that game last year. I had it all prepped and ready to go, ready to release last year, and then the pandemic hit. And I haven't been able to get into large gatherings and play the game. So I'm going to do that at every show. We're going to play games of Strangeville Smokeweed at the table. It's going to be fun. In fact, maybe a small piece of that 10-foot by 10-foot corner table that we have might just be totally dedicated to playing games of Strangeville Smokeweed and just keeping the games going all weekend long. In fact, I need to make a note that some of my promotional material, some of my flyers need to be specifically that game, because a lot of people hit on that game. There's a lot of stoners in the horror scene. There's an overlap of stoners and horror weirdos and gamer weirdos. Like, I love the horror scene because it's like a cross section of all the cool little subcultures that are into this kind of stuff. And so got to sit on the floor, play Strangeville Smokeweed. Sold a bunch of decks of that. So I sold a little bit of everything. Like I said, I sold to the fiction people. I sold to the movie people. There were some movie people that came by. I don't feel like the movies have a strong enough representation at the table right now, so I'm going to beef that up. I'm going to buy a portable DVD player, and those fucking trailers are coming back, gang. Those back on the road when we were on the road doing all the hack movies, all we did was play the trailers over and over again and just annoyed the shit out of everyone around us with having to listen to those trailers on a loop all weekend. And that's coming back. We're going to do the trailers on loop on a TV screen, and the especially at Kansas City Crypticon with that big 10-foot by 10-foot corner. A big part of that table is going to be dedicated to the hack movies. I'm going to be doing up. We were real successful doing up 24 by 36-inch posters with promotional material on them, and then standing them up on standees, and people would love to come up and read those. And so I'm going to dedicate a portion of the table just to promotional stuff for the hack movies, and then there's going to be a strange fiction portion, a Strangeville Smokeweed portion, comics portion. It's just going to be a huge. We're going to turn Kansas City into Strangeville for the weekend. And I'm going to start. It's April, May, June, July. I've got 3 months. I'm going to start really pushing for volunteers very soon to make sure I round out and have a whole group of weirdos ready to rock and roll for that show. As far as Chicago went, like I said, for being in the middle of a pandemic, we had a good show. I'm not the best cold seller, so it's not like I blew out and sold the whole table, which I've done on my own in the past. I just didn't do it this time. I'm rusty. I had to knock a lot of rust off my boots and get things back in gear. And I'm looking forward to continuing the tour. The tour is going to go run all the way into November this year. A lot of shows push their dates back into October and November. And so it's actually going to be like July, August. It's going to ramp up and get crazier and crazier as we go later into the year. There's going to be a lot of shows. So I'm hoping to have this new iteration of Strangeville with all these products for sale. I'm hoping to have the pitches and the promo stuff and the table design. I'm hoping to have it all perfected by the end of the year, and then rolling into next year, it'll be a well-oiled machine. The volunteer system will be worked out. I'll always have crazy weirdos running around promoting stuff for us. So, yeah, I'm going to call it a day there and wrestle with this design, see if I can't get us a table banner figured out that looks cool. a giant 6 foot by 6 foot table banner figured out that really encompasses the world of Strangeville. So until next time, gang, like I said, we're real close to that $1,500 goal on Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel. If you're watching this later, watching it back later, you can click the link in the description below in this YouTube video to the campaign, the Indiegogo campaign for Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel, 152 pages of full color, uncut, uncensored insanity. The graphic novel sequel to my 2009 feature film, Cockhammer. We're at $1,215. We're looking towards that $1,500 stretch goal. Everybody gets 75 free pages of black and white comics for all the stretch goals we've already smashed through. And we're looking to unlock that $1,500 stretch goal where every single backer gets a personalized video thank you from myself, Kevin Strange. And we only have a week left to get us there. As I record this video, it is April 12th. We have until April 20th to get us there to the $1,500 goal. So everybody gets a personalized video thank you. Let's see if we can get us there, gang. And we're looking forward to the next set of shows on the tour and perfecting this Strangeville thing. Till next time, gang, I'm Kevin Strange in Strangeville telling you to stay strange.